Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans, about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ziliaks, Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. This week, our guest is Kristen. She is the founder of Partners in Purpose. It's an organization that helps military children find scholarships for college. And as anybody who knows, who's ever been trying to find some scholarships for their kids, it's tough. And this is an awesome resource for military children. So, Kristen, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Larry.
Your webpage, and listeners, I'm just going to give you the webpage straight up right off the bat because I do want you to take a look at it. It's partners-in-purpose.com. And so there's where you go to access all the resources, and then they have a scholarship database, which is really extensive. So, Kristen, tell us how you got involved in this and decided this is what needs to be done.
So I was a military school lead for almost 12 years. I absolutely loved liaison, and I do truly hope that any of your viewers, if they have children, they're PCSing, they have questions with education, that they reach out to their school liaison first base, because it's really a great program and we're there. That said, I'm constantly looking for resources for families, and I'm just realizing how much effort it takes to find scholarships. As we were putting this together, it was about 10 to 13 clicks into every scholarship to see if you qualified to apply. Because there's so many differences in the military, who it's open to, it's open, etc. It really felt far more complicated than it need to be. The other reason that I really this is because I personally had taken out I took out $40,000 for my second master's degree. And by the time that was, was lucky enough to get student loan forgiveness, and I'm, definitely used my education, for what it was intended. It was $67,000 with compound interest. Our kids won't get out of that. I don't want our, and especially our military children that have to go through so much. Why should you, bear that burden on top of everything else? Yeah. And where this project came in.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about the database and how listeners can go about accessing it, what they should be looking for, what is the best way to use it?
So we are the first searchable, sortable, comprehensive scholarship database for the Georgias. And when I say that, that means dependents, your children, your spouses, veterans, students, ROTC students, you name it. So there's all different ones that you can sort. You can sort by the relation to the member. Are you a child, grandchild, spouse, great-grandchild? Are you the service member yourself? Is the service member of? So all different ways to kind of narrow the search down deeper. You can also search by state. You can search by the date of, when the application opens, when the application closes. So at a time like this in June, it's a great time to be able to go in there and say, things that close in July, because obviously if they're ones earlier, you'll realize that they're no longer.
Yeah. What do you see as the main barrier for military families in trying to get military kids scholarships?
There's a lot of barriers. I also on the homepage of the website, you can download I wrote a book, and that was all about PCSing in high school, searching for colleges, scholarships. One of the difficulties is that we have students in high school that move a tremendous times. And that makes it hard for them to kind of establish themselves, maybe be eligible for some of those local trips
Hmm.
that happen within that community. And so now they're looking elsewhere. The reality is that there are millions of dollars on the table every single year in scholarships that are not applied for. And that's horrible.
Hmm.
There's no reason. Part of the reason that that happens is because people just don't know where to look. And everyone kind of goes for the big name scholarship. I get it. But if you could find all the smaller ones too, and you apply, then you'd be in great shape. One of the biggest barriers to any student is looking ahead of time. And I'm the worst procrastinator on the planet, sometimes, really honest with you. So I get it. But if the kids start looking their junior year, you can junior year start going through this scholarship database. There are a lot of scholarships that open early.
Mm.
Well, get them out of the way. I've graduated 3 kids up. And when I tell you January 1 is a whirlwind.
Mm.
So the earlier they get to applying for scholarships or start making that list of the ones I'm going to apply for, then they'll kind of have a plan marked out. If you wait to the last minute, it's a lot harder to motivate. So there's a lot of things for military families. Plus they're moving. They're moving halfway through the year. They're trying to figure out whether or not they can get that reference. Did all my credits transfer? All of these other issues. So if there's a way that I could take even a small amount of burden off, that was really important to me.
Well, listeners, you can download that book as a PDF right off of the webpage. And again, the webpage is partners-in-purpose.com. It's not a long book. It's a little handbook, but it is jam-packed full of information. And I'm guessing that most readers don't know this. All the rules about transferring records and all sorts of things that you definitely want to pay attention to. So when the time comes to qualify for these scholarships, that you're able to do so. And I think you're right too about everybody goes for the big scholarships, but in your area you could find 3, 4, 5 different American Legion posts and BFW posts that often have scholarships available. Not much,
Correct.
but every little bit helps. And the barrier to qualify is usually pretty low. So don't forget those as well. And they are really focused on military children. One question I did have, is there a particular scholarship out there that's given out primarily to military children, or military children have better luck in qualifying for it?
So all of these scholarships are directed very specifically at the military and veteran population. So the scholarships that are on here are not the ones that you're going to find any student can apply for.
Oh.
And that's really important. These are not the generic massive lists that are out there. And those are wonderful. But this was very carefully curated specifically for military families, veteran families, and that what is on here is directed towards them. Now, it's mid-June. The scholarship database is going to go under a major scrub this summer, and always trying to make sure that we ensure that the link works, that the information is as updated as possible, that nothing has changed, because those things are really important to me. So often our families are searching for information out there and it's nearly impossible to find, which is unfortunate. They shouldn't have to go searching high and low through broken links to find any information.
Sure.
So that's one part of there's over 1,000 scholarships currently in this database. Only about 502 of them have a declared amount, meaning that it says this is how much money that person will obtain. A lot of times the reason for that is because the scholarship itself maybe hasn't been applied for in several years. And so they don't know how much money they're going to be able to give. It may be, greater or lesser.
Mm.
Just those 500 scholarships alone is over $5.5 million.
Oof.
And yes, I did the math.
Wow. So that's a case where they decide on how many scholarships they're going to give out and then divide up the pool based on that number. Is that how that works?
To my knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's not with every scholarship, obviously.
Sure.
The one thing we've been really careful with is the language that's in there, the language that's in the database is the exact language that has been taken from the scholarship itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my job to write the language that's in there. It's not my job to change their words. It's only my job to kind of help it stay organized. So nothing is a perfect science, of course.
No.
But the important part is that we are true to the organization that is, that has the scholarship.
Is there a cost to use the database?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So
I don't believe in charging military families for something that should just be a service to them.
sure. And funding, where does funding come from?
Well, Larry, at the moment, this, as well as my other projects, are 100% self-funded. I'm paying for it. I actually recently resigned from my position as a school liaison, as much as I love doing it, but to focus full-time on this, on Partners in Purpose, and which has now come under the Six Strong Foundation, which is now a registered nonprofit. And there will be two aspects of that we are working out. It's really time to put information in the hands of our military and veteran communities. They've earned it.
Mm-hmm.
They work hard for it and sacrifice for it in a way that I don't, and I will honor that. And if that means until I find a different way, I'm funding it myself. It just means that much to me.
Well, how fast can you get a donate button up there on that that top bar of your webpage? There's no reason why, parents who are using this resource and finding scholarships that are going to save them a lot of money can't donate to you so that the next military family still has access for it. I mean, you can't pay for it forever. And so I would encourage you to get that donate button up there so that our listeners can help fund this as a minimum, so that it's there to help future families. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. That's crazy.
I'm working on it. I am a very by the book and my integrity is everything to me. And it's how I was raised and how I've raised my children. You have one thing in this world, and that's your word. And you have to keep that. And so I just received my notice last week that my nonprofit was official. And so I actually have a meeting with the bank tomorrow. So I'm hoping to have that donate button up there real quick.
Great.
But yeah, it's in the works. Everything's in the works. It's amazing how long it takes to do the simplest things, but here we are.
Yeah, well, that's the world of nonprofits and veteran service organizations. Everything is harder than you think, and everything takes longer than you think. So
100% correct.
Talk a little bit about the scrub that you're going to do and what that takes. I mean, that sounds like a really colossal project. You just go in and check everything and just make sure all the verbiage is correct, or how does it work?
It's an arduous task. I'm not going to lie. It requires clicking into in the main database that's created, clicking into every single website and ensure that the link still works. Going through the information that we have against the information that is currently posted, or if any changes have been made, and ensuring that update is there. And then also going through further searches to see if there's scholarships out there that we've missed, that have now come up that we didn't know about. Every day is a new day, so you never know what's out there, and it's really important to get all of the information in there. The other thing we're working on is grants. What grants are available for families as well. One of the things that I found so amazing in doing all of this is the number of scholarships that are also available to military spouses,
Mm.
which is just amazing. And, I think too many of them don't take advantage of it. Maybe they think, oh, someone else is, more deserving than me or needs it more than me. You got to just apply. You have to apply
Mm-hmm.
because the money will sit there otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason why they shouldn't, so that they can further their education if that's what they choose to do. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. It's just a matter of taking advantage of it.
Now, do you see these scholarships specifically for spouses going to degree education, or are there scholarships available to help them get certifications such
Th-
as project management or nursing or even a paramedic certification?
There are some that are available for for technical education, as well as certificates that are, they're looking at getting.
Mm-hmm.
I've also recently been compiling a list of the free resources that are out there, which there's so many, so that I can get that up on the database. One of the challenges for me at the moment is from an IT perspective, making some of this happen. That's just not my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing a lot of information gathering, so that once, step by step, I'm having it built out. But hopefully it's gonna hit, full steam ahead really soon. But I'm ready when it does. But there are a lot of things out there for service members, for spouses, for families. It's just a matter of them taking advantage of it,
Mm-hmm.
and also understanding that it is truly available. So we want them to use it.
Well, for sure. And what about volunteers for the organization? I mean, what about if you have some listeners or somebody says, "Hey, my company works with web pages," or I have, it's my job. I work on web pages, and maybe in the evening I could help out uh, doing changes to the web pages or something. How about volunteering for the organization? What do you think about that?
I welcome volunteers anytime. I would love that. They can reach out to me. It's just Kristen, Kristen, at partners-in-purpose.com. Send me an email. I would love to interact. And also, if any of your listeners have ideas of things like, oh, hey, I really wish there was this resource out there, or that resource, whatever it may be. I know enough to know I will never know enough about their experience. I'm not a military spouse or a service member. I'm not a veteran. So if there's a way that I can best serve the community, or a resource that they feel is really needed, I'd love to hear about it.
Well, listeners, there you go. Think about volunteering your time. I mean, look, that database is going to need to be policed and make sure the links work, make sure the verbiage is correct. That is something that you could easily do in the evening. It's not a 9 to 5 thing. Think about volunteering here to help out a fledgling nonprofit that is just getting started, but is really offering a one of a kind resource for military families that the word needs to get out. Social media. If you have expertise in marketing or social media, talk to Kristen about how you might be able to help out or volunteer. Maybe your company wants to make a donation. Talk about some of the partners that you have. I do know Gen Vets and the Military Homeschoolers Association.
Mhm.
What are you looking for in partners to help with getting the word out?
Um, one of the ways that I've lived my life since my teenage years, when I was in a student leadership program, is under the philosophy of Ubuntu, which is, a lot of people say I am because we are.
Mm.
It's really that sense that we're only human through the humanity of others. And that accomplishing anything it's due to us. It's due to us as an individual as well as the collective. And we have to be able to work together to support and to care for one another and to have the community that everyone should have. That's really important to me. So in terms of working with other organizations, integrity is key. It's, the foundation of everything. It's really just the more we are a community, the less we sit in a silo and gatekeep information, the better off our military families and our service members and our veterans will be.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the goal?
Yeah.
For all of us?
Sure.
I sleep very soundly in my bed every night, and so do my children under someone else's sacrifice. That's how we need to approach every day when we're doing the work that we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is so valuable to military families because, they just the financial burden on military families without even thinking about college.
Mhm.
We have a lot of military families that have real issues with housing. I mean,
Mhm.
most service members don't live on military installations. They're forced to live in the
I know.
community. And the amount of money that
Mhm.
they get for housing is very often way, way less than the surrounding community, the going rate for renting in the community. And they're forced to either pony up their own money or move farther away from the installation, which means that their kids have got longer rides to school on the bus. And, it impacts the whole family. So anything we can do to get the word out to say, hey, when the kids are going to school, when they're thinking about, they're in their sophomore, junior, especially junior, senior year, thinking about college and a career, this is where you want to go to find scholarships. What would you say percentage-wise of the do you have any way to track of all the families that access the database if they get scholarships?
I don't have a way to track whether or not they get scholarships. To me, that would really involve, that would have to be them reaching back to me.
Mm.
I did have a dad last summer, and, in his words, he and his son waited too long, and he got on the database, and it was in like June or July.
Mm.
And he said, I was stunned that my son still managed to get $5,500 worth of scholarships, even though we started so late.
Wow. Yeah.
And not everything is just about, and this is something that people tend to forget. It's not just about applying for scholarships before they go into their freshman year of college or trade school or whatever it may be.
Mm.
It's all the years after that as well. Just because not all scholarships are just for that freshman year. There are plenty of scholarships that are recurring and, that you can pick up anytime. So it's really important that they look at all of those different pieces and hopefully, get more and more. The one thing that I can tell you is that this is from January to May of this year, we surpassed the number of visits on our website than we did in the entirety of 2025.
Oh, great.
So the word is definitely growing. Organizations, reach out to me and say, hey, could we put a link to your website on our website so that our, people that see it will be able to do that? And the answer is absolutely.
Yeah.
So if any listeners want to, put it up on their website, get in touch with me. I will make sure that you have the logo and any other information that you need so that you can do that.
Yeah. It's kind of a no-brainer, really. Just reach out. And the more places that the link is, the more it'll be picked up in Google search. And that is a no-brainer. When you think about other veteran service organizations, when you're seeing military families come to you and use your resources, what trends are you seeing amongst military families that other veteran service organizations should be paying more attention to?
I'll tell you, a lot of veteran service organizations are really doing everything that they can to do what is what is in their heart for the veteran and military community. I live in New Hampshire. I was the school liaison for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. So when you mentioned the piece about housing, it's very true. We are in a geographically dispersed area up here, and that makes it harder for families. That community piece that previously existed, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it has been more challenged in order to get families to come to events and to be engaged in the military community when it takes them 45 minutes to get there at the end of the day or an hour, because they truly are moving further from base. The other is the need for us to all really work on food insecurity and our military families. The fact that has to still be studied and that it still has to come out of my mouth is incredibly disheartening to the Italian in me. But they don't just want, all of the things that they can get at a food pantry. And honestly, it's really challenging for families to even have to do that. But almost that awareness of other organizations that are providing healthy, whole foods and whatnot to families, fruits and vegetables, things like that. So I guess the one thing I want our families to know is try to not have that pride that we all have and use the resources available to you because you should.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, reach out. I know it's hard sometimes, and but look, it's easier on the whole family when needs are met, whichever way. And these veteran service organizations that are out there exist to help. So please reach out. And look, volunteer with Kristen, and hopefully you'll get that donate button up there soon, and our listeners can go ahead and make a donation. But again, the webpage, listeners, is partners-in-purpose.com. Check it out. Download the handbook. It's packed full of information. And then use the scholarship. And please spread the word. Tell other families, whether they're military, active duty, veterans, tell others about this resource. And put it on your social media and get the word out, and ask others to pass that information along. Well, Kristen, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to sit down with us and fill us in on what's going on.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Well, listeners, we'll have another episode next Monday morning at 0500. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms. We're on YouTube and Reese Across America Radio. So until then, thanks for listening.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.